Hello, welcome in. I can't explain how strange it feels to be sitting here with nothing but a book when I'm used to having a controller or scale mail or anything of that sort. This is very odd, but we've done it once. We're going to do it again. I'm going to actually turn my noise gate up a little bit. Hold the phone. I'm going to edit this really fast. Because I can hear... Hello. I can hear it kicking on and off, and that is going to be really annoying for everybody. So we're going to... And it's not effects. Is it just mic? Compressor? Noise gate. There we go. That is much better. Much better. Still not... 2 more clicks. There we go. I'm a professional, I swear. Sorry, that was really loud. All right. Well, we are 50 pages in. We have more to go. So let's get started. Whoops, I just turned myself sideways. This really is bizarre. I'm so sorry. All right, let's move you all over here. There we go. So last time we finished with Israfel. Today we will be starting with the sleeper. At midnight in the month of June, I stand beneath the mystic moon. An opiate vapor, dewy dim, exhales from out her golden rim, and softly dripping, drop by drop, upon the quiet mountain top, steals drowsily and musically into the universal valley. The rosemary nods upon the grave, the lily lolls upon the wave, wrapping the fog about its breast, the ruin moulders into rest. Looking like Lethe, see the lake? A conscious slumber seems to take, and would not for the world awake. All beauty sleeps, and lo, where lies Irene with her destinies. O lady bright, can it be right, this window open to the night, the wanton airs from the treetop, laughingly through the lattice drop, the bodiless airs a wizard rout, flit through thy chamber in and out, and wave the curtain canopy so fitfully, so fearfully, above the closed and fringed lid, neath which thy slumbering soul lies hid, that o'er the floor and down the hall, like ghosts the shadows rise and fall. O lady dear, hast thou no fear? Why and what art thou dreaming here? Sure thou art come o'er far off seas, a wonder to these garden trees. Strange is thy pallor, strange is thy dress, strange above all, thy length of tress, and this all solemn silentness. The lady sleeps. Oh, may her sleep, which is enduring, so be deep. Heaven have her in its sacred keep, this chamber changed for one more holy, this bed for one more melancholy. I pray to God that she may lie forever with unopened eye, while the dimmed sheeted ghosts go by. My love, she sleeps. Oh, may her sleep, as it is lasting, so be deep. Soft may the worms about her creep, far in the forest, dim and old. For her may some tall vault unfold, some vault that oft hath flung its black and winged panels fluttering back, triumphant o'er the crusted palls of her grand family funerals. Some sepulchre, remote alone, against whose portal she hath thrown, in childhood many an idle stone, some tomb from out whose sounding door she ne'er shall force an echo more. Thrilling to think, poor child of sin, it was the dead who groaned within. I liked the rhythm to that one a lot. Not the least because it helped me read it better. Piper, why? Excuse me. allow me to be more quiet as I read this. Why are you watching me from Vegas? Weren't you watching football? And by football, I mean soccer. Didn't the game start already? I thought it started at 6. Because I didn't want to, like, interrupt you. Waiting for the game. Oh, okay. All right. I guess that's acceptable. I can read you a lovely bedtime story. Oh, that makes sense. So 50 more minutes. All right. I'll read you and everyone else a lovely bedtime story while you wait. This feels so weird knowing you're watching me. Not like in a bad weird, just like, I don't know. I didn't think this would be your style. Anyway, I shall continue to read. The Valley of Unrest. Once it smiled a silent dell, where the people did not dwell. They had gone unto the wars, trusting to the mild-eyed stars. Nightly from their azure towers to keep watch above the flowers, in the midst of which all day the red sunlight lazily lay. Now each visitor shall confess the sad valley's relentlessness. Nothing there is motionless, nothing save the airs that brood over the magic solitude. Ah, by no wind are stirred those trees that palpitate like the chill seas around the misty Hebrides. Ah, by no wind those clouds are driven that rustle through the unquiet heaven, uneasily from morn till even, over the violets there that lie in the myriad types of the human eye. Over the lilies there that wave and weep upon a nameless grave, they wave from out their fragrant tops, eternal dew come down in drops. They weep from off their delicate stems, perennial tears descend in gems. Oh no, I'm happy to have you. I just didn't think this was your speed is all. Also, when it said palpitate, for some reason I definitely thought of Palpatine, and that was not correct. The City and the Sea. Lo, Death has reared himself a throne in a strange city lying alone. Far down within the dim west, where the good and bad and the worst and the best have gone to their eternal rest. There shrines and palaces and towers, time-eaten towers that tremble not, resemble nothing that is ours. Around by lifting winds forgot, resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie. No rays from the holy heaven come down on the long night time of that town, but light from out the lurid sea streams up the turrets silently, gleams up the pinnacles far and free, up domes, up spires, up kingly halls, up fanes, up Babylon-like walls, up shadowy long-forgotten bowers of sculptured ivy and stone flowers, up many and many a marvelous shrine whose wreathed friezes intertwine. Phrases? Sorry. The vial, the violet, and the vine. Resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie, so blend the turrets and shadows there that all seem pendulous in air, while from a proud tower in the town, death looks gigantically down. Their open fanes and gasping graves yawn level with the luminous waves, but not the riches there that lie in each idol's diamond eye, not the gaily jeweled dead tempt the waters from their bed, for no ripples curl, alas, along that wilderness of glass. No swellings tell that winds may be upon some far-off happier sea. No heavings hint that winds have been on seas less hideously serene. But lo, a stir is in the air. The wave, there is a monument there, as if the towers had thrown aside in slightly sinking the dull tide, as if their tops had feebly given a void within the filmy heaven. The waves have now a redder glow. The hours are breathing faint and low. And when, amid no earthly moan, down, down that town shall settle hence, hell rising from 1,000 thrones shall do it reverence. Thank you for the well wishes. Enjoy your game. Have a safe ride. The traffic you showed me was kind of crazy. Ooh. This one is very It's poetry, but it's very prose-like in its length. That's interesting. Good tea. It's a throat-soothing tea. I'm taking care of myself today. Lenore. Ah, broken is the golden bowl, the spirit flown forever. Let the bell toll. A saintly soul floats on the Stygian river. And, Guy de Vere, hast thou no tear? Weep now or nevermore. See, on yon drear and rigid bier low lies thy love, Lenore. Come, let the burial rite be read, the funeral song be sung, an anthem for the queenliest dead that ever died so young. A dirge for her the doubly dead, in that she died so young. Wretches, ye loved her for her wealth, and ye hated her for her pride, and when she fell in feeble health, ye blessed her that she died. How shall the ritual then be read, the requiem how be sung? By you, by yours the evil eye, by yours the slanderous tongue, that did to death the innocent that died, and died so young. Peshavimus, yet rave and not thus. Be let a Sabbath song go up to God so solemnly the dead may feel no wrong. The sweet Lenore hath gone before with hope that flew beside, leaving thee wild for the dear child that should have been thy bride. For her, the fair and debonair, that now so lowly lies, the life upon her yellow hair, but not within her eyes. The life still there upon her hair, the death upon her eyes. Avaunt, avaunt to friends from fiends, the indignant ghost is riven, from hell unto a high estate within the utmost heaven. From moan and groan to a golden throne beside the King of heaven. Let no bell toll then, lest her soul, amid its hallowed mirth, shall catch the note as it doth float up from the damned earth. And I, tonight, my heart is light, no dirge will I appraise, but waft the angel on her flight with a paean of old days. That sounded like a diss track if I ever heard one. He was not happy when he wrote that. To One in Paradise. Thou waste all that to me love, for which my soul did pine. A green isle in the sea, love, a fountain and a shrine, all wreathed with fairy fruits and flowers, and all the flowers were mine. Ah, dream too bright to last, ah, starry hope, that didst arise, but to be overcast. A voice from out the future cries, on, but o'er the past, dim gulf, my spirit hovering lies, mute, motionless, aghast. For alas, alas, with me, the light of life is o'er. No more, no more, no more. Such language holds the solemn sea to the sands upon the shore. Shall bloom the thunder-blasted tree, or the stricken eagle soar. And all my days are trances, and all my nightly dreams are where thy grey eye glances, and where thy footstep gleams. In what ethereal dances, by what eternal streams. I feel like my phone isn't picking me up very well. I did get my phone to work, I just need it to point at me. Hymn. At morn, at noon, at twilight dim, Maria, thou hast heard my hymn. In joy and woe, in good and ill, Mother of God, be with me still. When the hours flew brightly by, and not a cloud obscured the sky, my soul, lest it should truant be, thy grace did guide to thine and thee. Now when storms of fate o'ercast darkly my present and my past, let my future radiant shine with sweet hopes of thee and thine. Enigma. The noblest name in allegory's page, the hand that traced inexorable rage. A pleasing moralist whose page refined displays the deepest knowledge of the mind. A tender poet of a foreign tongue, indicted in that language he sung. A bard of brilliant but unlicensed page, at once the shame and glory of our age. The prince of harmony and sterling sense, the ancient dramatist of eminence, the bard that paints imagination's powers, and him whose song revives departed hours. Once more in ancient tragic bard recall, in boldness and design surpassing all. These names, when rightly read, a name known, which gathers all their glories in its own. Serenade. So sweet the hour, so calm the time, I feel it more than half a crime, when nature sleeps and stars are mute, to mar the silence even with lute. At rest on ocean's brilliant dyes, an image of Elysium lies. 7 Pleiades entranced in heaven form in the deep another 7. Endymion, nodding from above, sees in the sea a second love, within the valleys dim and brown. And on the spectral mountain's crown, the wearied light is laying down. The earth and stars and sea and sky are redolent of sleep as I am redolent of thee and thine, enthralling my love, my Adeline. But list, oh list, so soft and low, thy lover's voice tonight shall flow, that scarce awake thy soul shall dream, my words the music of a dream. Deem my words the music of a dream. Thus, while no single sound too rude upon thy slumber shall intrude, our thoughts, our souls, O God above, in every deed shall mingle love. The Colosseum. Type of the antique Rome, rich reliquary, of lofty contemplation left to time, by buried centuries of pomp and power, at length, after so many days of weary pilgrimage and burning thirst for the springs of lore that in thee lie, I kneel, an altered and a humbled man, amid thy shadows, and so drink within my very soul thy grandeur, gloom, and glory. Vastness and age and memories of eld, silence and desolation and dim night, I feel ye now. I feel ye in your strength, O spells more sure than e'er Judean king, taught in the gardens of Gethsemane. O charms more potent than the rapt Chaldee, ever dew down from out thy quiet stars. Here where a hero fell, a column falls. Here where the mimic eagle glared in gold, a midnight vigil holds the swarthy bat. Here where the dames of Rome their gilded hair waved to the wind, now wave the reed and thistle. Here where on golden throne the monarch lulled, glides spectre-like unto his marble home, lit by the wan light of the horned moon, the swift and silent lizard of the stones. But stay, these walls, these ivy-clad arcades, these moldering plinths, these sad and blackened shafts, these vague entablatures, this crumbling frieze. I think that's frieze. These shattered cornices, this wreck, this ruin, these stones, alas, these gray stones, are they all of the famed and the colossal left by the corrosive hours to fate and me? Not all, the echoes answer me, not all. Prophetic sounds and loud arise forever, from us and from all ruin unto the wise, as melody from Memnon to the sun. We hear the hearts of the mightiest men, we rule, with a despotic sway, all giant minds. We are not impotent, we pallid stones. Not all our power is gone, not all our fame. Not all the magic of our high renown, not all the wonder that encircles us, not all the mysteries that in us lie, not all the memories that hang upon and cling around about us as a garment, clothing us in a robe of more than glory. We have again returned to poems that are almost censored in a way. It says to F blank S O blank D. So to S odd. I don't know who he's writing to, but whoever he's writing to, let's listen. Thou wouldst be loved? Then let thy heart from its present pathway part not, being everything which now thou art, be nothing which thou art not. So with the world thy gentle ways, thy grace, thy more than beauty, shall be an endless theme of praise, and love a simple duty. To F blank. Beloved, amidst the earnest woes that crowd around my earthly path, drear path, alas, where grows not even one lonely rose, my soul at least a solace hath, in dreams of thee, and therein knows an Eden of bland repose. And thus thy memory is to me like some enchanted far-off isle, in some tumultuous sea, some ocean throbbing far and free, with storms, but where meanwhile serenest skies continually just o'er that one bright island smile. Bridal Ballad. The ring is on my hand, and the wreath is on my brow. Satins and jewels grand are all at my command, and I am happy now. And my lord, he loves me well, but when first he breathed his vow, I felt my bosom swell, for the words rang as a knell, and the voice seemed his who fell in the battle down the dell, and who is happy now. But he spoke to reassure me, and he kissed my pallid brow, while a reverie came o'er me, and the churchyard bore me, and I sighed to him before me, thinking him dead, to allure me. Oh, I am happy now. And thus the words were spoken, and this the plighted vow, and though my faith be broken, and though my heart be broken, here is a ring as a token that I am happy now. Behold the golden token that proves me happy now. Would God I could awaken, for dream I know not how, and my soul is sorely shaken, lest an evil step be taken, lest the dead who is forsaken may not be happy now. Of course you would show up right then, Sunnybus. Of course you would show up right then. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you. I was that dork in school who loved reading aloud. It was so obvious that I loved reading aloud that when I toned it back because I didn't want to be like that kid, the teachers docked me for not showing enough emotion and were like, you can do better and you know you can. And I was like, you're right, I can. That was like 7th grade. Bittersweet timing as your character trait. That's canonically how you summon Sunny. Welcome in, Frankie, as well. All right. Sonnet to Zanti. Fair isle that from the fairest of all flowers, thy gentlest of all gentle names dost take, how many memories of what radiant hours at sight of thee and thine at once awake? How many scenes of what departed bliss, how many thoughts of what entombed hopes, how many visions of a maiden that is no more, no more upon thy verdant slopes, no more. Alas, that magical sound, sad sound, transforming all. Thy charms shall please no more, thy memory no more. Accursed ground. Henceforth I hold thy flower-enameled shore, O hyacinth isle, O purple Zante, Isola d'oro, fior di Levante. You're just in time. We're about... I mean, if you want to stay, we're about 6 pages away from the Raven. We're very close indeed. The Haunted Palace. In the greenest of our valleys, by good angels tenanted, once a fair and stately palace, radiant palace, reared its head. In the monarch thought's dominion it stood there, never sereth spread opinion, over fabric half so fair. Banners yellow, glorious, golden, on its roof did float and flow. This, all this, was in the olden time long ago. And every gentle air that dallied in that sweet day, along the ramparts, plumed and pallid, a winged odor went away. Wanderers in that happy valley, through 2 luminous windows saw spirits moving musically to a lute's well-tuned law. Round about a throne were sitting Porphyrogeny, in a state his glory well befitted. the ruler of the realm, was seen. And all with pearl and ruby glowing was the fair palace door, through which came flowing, and sparkling evermore, a troop of echoes whose sweet duty was but to sing, in voices of surpassing beauty, the wit and wisdom of thy king. But evil things in their robes of sorrow assailed the monarch's high estate. Ah, let us mourn, for never sorrow shall dawn upon him desolate. And round about his home the glory that blushed and bloomed is but a dim-remembered story of the old time entombed. And travelers now within that valley, through the red-litten windows, see vast forms that move fantastically to a discordant melody, while like a ghastly rapid river through the pale door, a hideous throng rush out forever, and laugh, but smile no more. Hi, Abaddon. Hi. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that, and thank you for wanting to tune in some more. No pressure. You don't have to, but if you want to, it'll be there for sure. Like I said, we're about to get to the Raven, and who can resist the Raven, right? Sonnet. Silence. There are some qualities, some incorporate things, that have a double life, which thus is made, a type of that twin entity which springs from matter and light, evinced in solid and shade. There is a twofold silence, sea and shore, body and soul. One dwells in lonely places, newly with grass o'ergrown, some solemn graces. Some human memories and tearful lore render him terrorless, his name's no more. He is the corporate silence, dread him not, no power hath he of evil in himself, but should some urgent fate, untimely lot, bring thee to meet his shadow, nameless elf that haunted the lone regions where hath trod no foot of man, commend thyself to God. This is an interestingly named one. The Conqueror Worm. Something tells me he doesn't think kindly of this person. Lo, 'tis a gala night. Within the lonesome latter years, an angel throng, bewinged, bedight, in veils and drown in tears, sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes, in the form of God on high, mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly, mere puppets they who come and go at bidding of vast formless things, that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping out from their condor wings, invisible woe. That motley drama, oh be sure it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased for evermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth in to the self-same spot, and much of madness and more of sin, and horror the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes with mortal pains. The mimes become its food, and seraphs sob at vermin fangs, in human gore imbued. Out are the lights, out all, and over each quivering form the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy Man, and its hero the conqueror worm. Here's one for me. Dreamland. This is my thing. Although science was also my thing, and he had a rather scathing review of science, so I'm not sure how this will go. Dreamland. By a route obscure and lonely, haunted by ill angels only, where an Eidolon named Night on a black thrain roans uptight, I have reached these lands but newly from an ultimate dim thule, from a weird, wild climb that lieth sublime, out of space, out of time. Bottomless vales and boundless floods, and chasms and cave and titan woods, with forms that no man can discover for the tears that drip all over, mountains toppling evermore into seas without a shore, seas that restlessly aspire, surging unto skies of fire, lakes that endlessly outspread their lone waters, lone and dead, their still waters, still and chilly with the snows of the lolling lily. By the lakes that thus outspread, their lone waters lone and dead, their sad waters, sad and chilly. With the snows of the lolling lily by the mountains, near the river, murmuring lowly, murmuring ever. By the gray woods, by the swamp where the toad and the newt encamp, by the dismal tarns and pools where dwell the ghouls, by each spot the most holy, in each nook the most melancholy. There the traveler meets, aghast, sheeted memories of the past, shrouded forms that start and sigh as they pass the wanderer by, white-robed forms of friends long given in agony to the earth and heaven. For the heart whose woes are legion, 'tis a peaceful, soothing region. For the soul who walks in shadow, 'tis an El Dorado. But the traveler traveling through it may not dare openly view it. Never its mysteries are exposed to the weak human eye enclosed. So wills its king, who hath forbid the uplifting of the fringed lid, and thus the sad soul that here passes beholds it, but through darkened glasses. By a route obscure and lonely, haunted by ill angels only, where an Eidolon, named Night, on a black throne reigns upright, I have wandered home but newly from this ultimate dim Thule. Yeah, that sounds like dreams. They make no damn sense. One more poem to the Raven. Eulalie, a song. I dwelt alone in a world of moan, and my soul was a stagnant tide, till the fair and gentle Eulalie became my blushing bride, till the yellow-haired young Eulalie became my smiling bride. Ah, less bright the stars of the night than the eyes of the radiant girl, and never a flake that vapor make, with the moon tints of purple and pearl, can vie with the modest Eulalie's most unregarded curl, can compare with the bright-eyed Eulalie's most humble and careless curl. Now doubt, now pain, come never again, for her soul gives me sigh for sigh, and all day long shines bright and strong, Astarte within the sky, while ever to her dear Eulalie upturns her matron eye, while ever to her young Eulalie upturns her violet eye. Simp. All right. The Raven is considerably long. I might have to take some drinking breaks during, but I'll do my best. I feel like I'm following up on the footsteps of so many people that will have read this better than me. That one was uncharacteristically cheery. Yes, he's got a couple that are like that. We read one last time that was very... Reading it made me feel like a fool in love. Like the way that he got the emotions across, I was like, oh, he's just so endeared to her. It's really cute. And then we move on to this. I'm not sure I've ever read this the full way through, honestly. I probably have, but I don't remember it. Give me 1 second. All right. The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dreamed to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. Perched, and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven still beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from some unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. Tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee up, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black tomb as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. And that was the raven. So dramatic. So dramatic indeed. A Valentine. For her this rhyme is penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Loda, shall find her own sweet name that nestling lies upon the page, enwrapped from every reader. Such narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure, divine, a talisman, an amulet, that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables. Do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labor. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a saber, if one could merely comprehend the plot and written upon the leaf where now we're peering. I scintillating soul, there lie produce. 3 elegant words, oft uttered in the hearing of poets by poets, as the name is a poet's too. Its letters, although naturally lying like the knight Pinto, Mendez Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. Thank you, Frankie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's easy on the Raven because it has a very... The meter is very even. These other ones are difficult. He doesn't seem to want to stick to any rhythm. Oh, this one's short and sad. Deep in earth. Deep in earth my love is lying, and I must weep alone. Ouch. To Miss Louise Olivia Hunter. Though I turn, I fly not. I cannot depart. I would try, but try not to release my heart, and my hopes are dying while on dreams are lying. I am spelled by art. Thus the bright snake coiling neath the forest tree wins the bird beguiling to come down and see. Like that bird the lover round his fate will hover till the blow is over, and he sinks, like me. That is one of the most eloquent ways to describe a temptress I've ever heard. You're a snake luring me in with your pretty colors until you eat me. To MLS, but it's S dash. The name has been redacted. Oof. Of all who hail thy presence as the morning, of all to whom thy absence is the night, the blotting utterly from out high heaven, the sacred sun of all who weeping bless thee, hourly for hope, for life, above all, for the resurrection of deep-buried faith, in truth, in virtue, in humanity, of all who, on despair's unhallowed bed, lying down to die, have suddenly arisen at thy soft murmured words, let there be light, at the soft murmured words that were fulfilled in the seraphic glancing of thine eyes, Of all who owe thee most, whose gratitude nearest resembles worship, oh, remember the truest, the most fervently devoted, and think that these weak lines are written by him who, as he pens them, thrills to think his spirit is communing with an angel's. I'm so curious about these redacted names. I'm going to have to look into it because here's another. To blank, blank, blank. Not long ago, the writer of these lines, in the mad pride of intellectuality, maintained the power of words. Denied that ever a thought arose within the human brain, beyond the utterance of the human tongue, and now, as if in mockery of that boast, 2 words, 2 foreign soft syllables, Italian tones made only to be murmured by angels dreaming in the moonlit. Dew that hangs like chains of pearl on Hermon Hill. Have stirred from out the abysses of his heart unthought-like thoughts that are the soul of thoughts. Richer, far wider, far diviner versions than even the seraph Arthur Israfel, who has the sweetest voice of all God's creatures, could hope to utter. And I, my spells are broken. The pen falls powerless from my shivering hand. With thy dear name as text, though bidden by thee, I cannot write. I cannot speak or think. Alas, I cannot feel. For 'tis not feeling that stands motionless upon the golden threshold of the wide open gates of dreams, gazing, entranced, adown the gorgeous vista, and thrilling as I see upon the right, upon the left, and all the way along, amid empurpled vapors far away, to where the prospect terminates, thee only. Ooh, this one is lengthy. Let me get some tea. And possibly wrist popping ASMR. It's not easy holding a 1,000-page book at a decent angle to read. Might have to switch my phone around, angle it up so I can look down. We'll see. Ulalume, a ballad. We haven't had a ballad yet, have we? I don't think we have. A ballad. The skies, they were ashen and sober. The leaves, they were crisped and sere. The leaves, they were withered and sere. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorial... God, deep breath. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorial year. It was hard by the dim lake of Auber in the misty mid-region of Weir. It was down by the dank tarn of Auber in the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Here once through an alley titanic of cypress I roamed with my soul, of cypress with Psyche, my soul. There were days when my heart was volcanic as the scoriac rivers that roll, as the lavas that restlessly roll, their sulphurous currents down Yonok, in the ultimate climbs of the pole, that groan as they roll down Mount Yonok, in the realms of the boreal pole. Our talk had been serious and sober, but our thoughts they were palsied and sere, our memories were treacherous and sere. For we knew not the month was October, and we marked not the night of the year. Ah, night of all nights in the year. We noted not the dim lake of Auber, though once we had journeyed down here. We remembered not the dank tarn of Auber, nor the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. And now as the night was senescent, and starred isles pointed to morn, as the starred isles hinted of morn, at the end of our path a liquescent and nebulous lustre was born, about which a miraculous crescent arose with a duplicate horn. Astarte's bediamonded crescent distinct with its duplicate horn. And I said, she is warmer than Diane. She rolls through an ether of sighs. She revels in a region of sighs. She has seen that the tears are not dry on these cheeks where the worm never dies, and has come past the stars of the lion to point us to the path of the skies, to the Lethean peace of the skies. Come up in despite of the lion, to shine on us with her bright eyes. Come up through the lair of the lion, with love in her luminous eyes. But Psyche, uplifting her finger, said, sadly this star I mistrust. Her pallor I strangely mistrust. Ah, hasten, ah, let us not linger. Ah, fly, let us fly, for we must. In terror she spoke, letting sink her wings till they trailed in the dust. In agony sobbed, letting sink her, plumed till they trailed in the dust, till they sorrowfully trailed in the dust. I replied, this is nothing but dreaming. Let us on by this tremulous light. Let us bathe in this crystalline light. Its sibyllic slender is beaming with hope and in beauty tonight. See, it flickers up through the sky, through the night. Ah, we safely must trust to its gleaming and be sure that it will lead us aright. We safely must trust to a gleaming that cannot but guide us aright, since it flickers up to heaven through the night. Thus I pacified Psyche and kissed her and tempted her out of her gloom, and conquered her scruples and gloom, and we passed to the end of the vista, but were stopped by the door of a tomb. By the door of a legend tomb, and I said, what is written, sweet sister, upon the door of this legended tomb? She replied, Ulalume. It is the vault of thy lost Ulalume. Then my heart it grew ashen and sober, as the leaves that were crisped and sere, as the leaves that were withered and sere. And I cried, it was surely October, on this night of last year, that I journeyed down here, that I brought a dreaded burden down here, on this night of all nights in the year. Ah, what demon has tempted me here? Well, I know now this dim lake of Auber, this misty mid-region of Weir. Well, I know now this dank tarn of Auber, this ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Said we then, the two then, ah, can it have been that the woodlandish ghouls, the pitiful, the merciful ghouls, to bar our way up here and to ban it from thy secret that lies in these woods, from the thing that lies hidden in these woods, have drawn up a spectre of a planet from the limbo of lunary souls, the sinful scintillate planet, from the hell of thy planetary souls. I would say trust the muse. If you're going to go somewhere, trust the person who is spiritually inclined. But that's just me. An enigma. Seldom we find, says Solomon Don Dunce, half an idea in the profoundest sonnet, through all the flimsy things we see at once, as easily as through a Naples bonnet. Trash of all trash, how can a lady don it? Yet heavier far than thy Petrarchan staff, owl downy nonsense that the paintest puff twirls into trunk paper the while you con it. And veritably soul is right enough, the general tunkermanities are errant, bubbles ephemerant and so transparent, but this is, now you may depend upon it, stable, opaque, immortal, all by dint of the dear names that lie concealed within it. The bells! I forgot about this poem. I'm not as familiar with the bells as other poems, but I'll do my best. Here are the sledges with the bells, silver bells. What a world of merriment their melody foretells! How they tinkle, tinkle, tinkle in this icy air of night, while the stars that oversprinkle all the heavens seem to twinkle with a crystalline delight, keeping time, 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 in a runic sort of rhyme, to the tintinnabulation that so musically wells from the bells, 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 from the jingling and tinkling of the bells. Hear now the mellow wedding bells, golden bells. What a world of happiness their harmony foretells. Through the balmy air of night, how they ring out their delight from the molten golden notes and all in tune. What a liquid ditty flows to the turtle dove that listens while she gloats on the moon. Oh, from out the sounding cells, what a gush of euphony voluminously wells. How it swells, on the future, how it tells of the rapture that impels to the swinging and the ringing of the bells, 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 of the bells, 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 to the rhyming and chiming of the bells. Hear the loud alarum bells, brazen bells, what terror, what tale of terror now their turbulency tells in the startled ear of night, how they scream out their affright too much horrified to speak, they can only shriek out of tune in a clamorous appealing to the mercy of the fire, in a mad expostulation to the death and frantic fire, leaping higher, 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 with a desperate desire and a resolute endeavor, now to sit or never by the sight of the pale-faced moon. Oh, the bells, 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 what a tale their terror tells of despair! How they clang and clash and roar, what a horror they outpour on the bosom of the palpitating air. Yet the ear it fully knows by the twanging and the clanging how the danger ebbs and flows. Yet the ear distinctly tells in the jangling and the wrangling how the danger sinks and swells, by the sinking or the swelling in the anger of the bells, of the bells, of the bells, 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 and the clamor and the clangor of the bells. Hear the tolling of the bells, iron bells. What a world of solemn through their melody compels. In the silence of the night, how we shiver with affright at the melancholy meaning of the tone. For every sound that floats from the rest within their throats is a groan. And the people, the people, they that dwell up in the steeple, all alone, and who, tolling, tolling, tolling in that muffled monotone, feel a glory in so rolling on the heart the human heart a stone. They are neither man nor woman, they are neither brute nor human, they are ghouls, and their king it is who tolls as he rolls, 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 rolls a paean from the bells, and his merry bosom swells with the paean of the bells, and he dances and he yells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme to the paean of the bells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme to the throbbing of the bells, 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 to the sobbing of the bells, keeping time, 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 as he knells, 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 in a happy runic rhyme to the rolling of the bells, 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 to the tolling of the bells, 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 to the moaning and the groaning of the bells. That felt like insanity. And you made me laugh, Sunny Bus. I'm sure you could hear it. Bells, bells. Hell's bells. Good song. I'm so close to running out of tea. Oh no. Oh no. To Helen. I saw thee once only, years ago. I must not say how many, but not many. It was a July midnight, and from out a full-orbed moon that, like thine own soul soaring, sought a precipitate pathway up to heaven, there fell a silvery silken veil of light with quietude and sultriness and slumber upon the upturned faces of 1,000 roses that grew in an enchanted garden, where no wind dared to stir unless on tiptoe, fell on the upturned faces of these roses that gave out in return for the love light their odorous souls in an ecstatic death. Fell upon the upturned faces of those roses that smiled and died in this parterre, enchanted by thee and by the poetry of thy presence. Clad all in white upon a violet bank, I saw thee half reclining while the moon fell upon the upturned faces of the roses, and on thine own upturned, alas, in sorrow. Was it not fate that on this July midnight, was it not fate, whose name is also sorrow, that bade me pause before that garden gate to breathe the incense of those slumbering roses? No footsteps stirred, the hated world all slept, save only thee and me. Oh heaven, oh God, how my heart beats in coupling those two words. Save only thee and me. I paused, I looked, and in an instant all things disappeared. Ah, bear in mind this garden was enchanted. The pearly luster of the moon went out, the mossy banks and the meandering paths, the happy flowers and the repining trees were seen no more. The very roses' odors died in the arms of the adoring airs. All expired save thee, save less than thou, save only the divine light in thine eyes, save but the soul in thine uplifted eyes. I saw but them, they were the world to me. I saw but them, saw only them for hours, saw only them until the moon went down. What wild heart histories seem to he written upon those crystal and celestial spheres. How dark a woe, yet how sublime a hope! How silently serene a sea of pride, how daring an ambition, yet how deep, how fathomless a capacity for love. But now at length, dear Dion sank from sight into a western couch of thundercloud, and thou, a ghost amid the entombed trees, didst glide away. Only thine eyes remained. They would not go. They have never yet gone. Lighting my lonely pathway home that night, they have not left me as my hopes have since. They follow me, they lead me through the years. They are my ministers, yet I their slave. Their office is to illumine and enkindle. My duty to be saved by their bright light and purified in their electric fire and sanctified in their Elysian fire. They fill my soul with beauty, which is hope, and are far up in heaven the stars I kneel to in the sad, silent watches of my night. While even in the meridian glare of day, I see them still, two sweetly scintillant Venuses, unextinguished by the sun. Simp. So he does have like very sweet and romantic poems too. It's cute. It's not all doom and gloom. A dream within a dream. If anybody has ever woken up in their dream and still been asleep, you will fully understand how disorienting that is. I've done it a couple of times while I was at college. Under a lot of stress, I woke up but didn't actually wake up. And then I dreamed that I went to class, and then I woke up in my dorm room and realized I still had to go to class. A dream within a dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream, yet if hope is flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep. While I weep. Oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Ouch. Given what the foreword said about the... Please forgive my doggo for his shaking. Given what we read in his foreword about the amount of people that he lost in his life, an astounding amount to tuberculosis, I feel like that's him crying out for the people in his life to stay, and it hurts. Oh, another long one. I should get more tea. For Annie. Thank heaven, the crisis, the danger is past, and the lingering illness is over at last, and the fever called living is conquered at last. Sadly, I know I am shorn of my strength, and no muscle I move as I lie at full length. But no matter, I feel I am better at length, and I rest so composedly now in my bed that any beholder might fancy me dead, might start at beholding me, thinking me dead. The moaning and groaning, the sighing and sobbing are quieted now, but that horrible throbbing at heart, that horrible, horrible throbbing, the sickness, the nausea, the pitiless pain have ceased with the fever that maddened my brain, with the fever called living that burned in my brain. And oh, of all tortures, that torture, the worst, has abated, the terrible torture of thirst for the naphthaline river of passion accursed. I have drank of a water that quenches all thirst, of a water that flows with a lullaby sound from a spring that but a very few feet underground, from a cavern not very far down underground. And let it never be foolishly said that my room is gloomy and narrow my bed, for man never slept in a different bed, and to sleep you must slumber in just such a bed. My tantalized spirit here blandly reposes, forgetting or never regretting its roses, its old agitation of myrtle and roses. For now, while so quietly lying, it fancies a holier odor about it of pansies, a rosemary odor commingled with pansies, with rue and the beautiful Puritan pansies. And so it lies happily bathing in many a dream of the truth and the beauty of Annie, drown in a bath of the tresses of Annie. She tenderly kissed me, she fondly caressed, and then I fell gently to sleep on her breast, deeply to sleep from the heaven of her breast. When the light was extinguished, she covered me warm, and she prayed to the angels to keep me from harm, to the queen of the angels to shield me from harm. And I lie so composedly now in my bed, knowing her love that you fancy me dead, and I rest so contentedly now in my bed, with her love at my breast, that you fancy me dead, that you shudder to look at me, thinking me dead. But my heart it is brighter than all of the many stars in the sky, for it sparkles with Annie. It glows with the love of my Annie, with the thought of the light of the eyes of my Annie. Guess if you gotta go, resting on someone's boobs is probably a nice way. Let's be real here. Eldorado. Gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of Eldorado. Shadow, Rado. Weird rhyming. In search of Eldorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found no spot of ground that looked like Eldorado. And as his strength failed him at last, he met a pilgrim's shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of Eldorado? Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow. Ride, boldly ride, the shade replied, if you seek for Eldorado. I'm going to apologize for incorrectly pronouncing that. An area close to where I live mispronounces it, and I hear it far too frequently to be comfortable with. It's Eldorado. Say it right. Wait, my area has a tendency of mispronouncing words that aren't English, and it's very annoying. That's how we can all hope to go out. Yeah. Lying on someone's chest, lying on their lap, something. Eldorado. If anyone said it like that, I'm not saying I would punch a bitch, but okay. We're reading say-so poetry. I can't have this potty mouth. Okay. Sonnet to my mother. Because I feel that in the heavens above, the angels whispering to one another can find among their burning terms of love none so devotional as that of mother. Therefore by that dear name I long have called you, you who are more than mother unto me, and fill my heart of hearts where death installed you in setting my Virginia's spirit free. My mother, my own mother, who died early, was but the mother of myself, but you are mother to the one I loved so dearly, and thus are dearer to me than the mother I knew, by that infinity with which my wife was dearer to my soul than its soul life. I'm sorry, did we just hear a poem where someone had a good in-law? That was to his mother-in-law. That's really sweet. Live in an area like that too, so you understand the frustration. Yes. We had a really bad storm come through like several weeks ago called a derecho, but online the pronunciation says that it should be pronounced derecho, like emphasis on the middle syllable, and I was just like, I'm not a native Spanish speaker, but I took enough Spanish in high school to be like, please recognize the origin of the word that you are using. Please don't Americanize it. It comes from the word for straight because it moves straight through an area, wrecking all that it touches. Anyway, small gripes, minor gripes. We have reached probably one of the most well-known, along with the Raven. My immersion is in shambles. Oh. All right, we've reached another one of his most well-known. We've reached Annabel Lee. and I will do my best to keep the meter correct. It was many and many a year ago, in the kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. She was a child, and I was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud by night, chilling my Annabel Lee, so their high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the side of the sea. Okay, so we've got a weird one. If you will give me just a moment, I'd like to start another cup of tea. Because this is quite long. We've reached the end of the poetry. We're about into the prose, but first we have a play. Scenes from Politician, an unpublished drama, and it is quite long. We got about 19 pages of more than just poetry. So let me get my tea started if you don't mind. All right, there are acts, so while the kettle warms, I will begin. I'll go pour my tea at Act 2. The kettle should be done by then. Scenes from Politician, an unpublished drama, Act 1. And I'm gonna have to say the names. I know you're not supposed to say the names, but I ain't that good right now. Rome, a hall and a palace. Alessandra and Castiglione. Alessandra, thou art sad, Castiglione. Castiglione, sad? Not I. Oh, I'm the happiest man in Rome. A few more days, thou knowest, my Alessandra, will make thee mine. Oh, I am very happy. Okay, it's a man and a woman, so I can go higher and lower. Methinks thou hast a singular way of showing thy happiness. What ails thee, cousin of mine? Why didst thou sigh so deeply? Did I sigh? I was not conscious of it. It is a fashion, a most silly fashion I have, when I am very happy. Did I sigh? Thou didst. Thou art not well. Thou hast indulged too much of late, and I am vexed to see it. Late hours in wine, Castiglione, these will ruin thee. Thou art already altered. Thy looks are haggard. Nothing so wears away the constitution as late hours in wine. Nothing, fair cousin, nothing. Not even deep sorrow wears it away like evil hours in wine. I will lament. Do it. I will have thee drop thy riotous company too, fellows low-born. Ill suit the like with old de Broglio's heir, and Alessandra's husband. I will drop them. Thou wilt. Thou must. Attendst thou also more to thy dress and equipage? They are overplain for thy lofty rank and fashion. Much depends upon appearances. I'll see to it. Then see to it. Pay more attention, sir, to a becoming carriage. Much thou wantest in dignity. Much, oh much. How much I want in proper dignity. Thou mockest me, sir. Sweet, gentle Lalage. Heard I aright? I speak to him. He speaks of Lalage. Sir Count, what art thou dreaming? He is not well. What ails thee, sir? Cousin, fair cousin, madam, I crave thy pardon, and indeed I am not well. Lay your hand from off my shoulder, if you please. This air is most oppressive. Madam, the Duke. Enter Diverlio. Oh no, there's a new person. My son, I've news for thee. Hey, what's the matter? What's the matter? That is such a modern word. The pouts. Kiss her, Castiglione. Kiss her. You dog, and make it up, I say, this minute. I've news for you both. Politician is expected hourly in Rome. Politician Earl of Leicester. Oh, God, that's British, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Leicester? Do I have anybody from Britain or the UK in the chat right now? There are too many letters, and I don't know what to do with them. I think it's Leicester. Lecter. Leicester. I don't know. We'll have him at the wedding. 'Tis his first visit to the imperial city. What? Politician of Britain, Earl of Leicester? The same, my love. We'll have him at the wedding. A man quite young in years, but grey in fame. I have not seen him, but rumor speaks of him as a prodigy, preeminent in arms and in arts and arms and wealth and high descent. We'll have him at the wedding. I have heard much of this politician. Gay, volatile, and giddy, is he not, and little given to thinking? Far from it, love. No branch, they say, of all philosophy so deep a truce as he. He has not mastered it. Learned are as few are learned. 'Tis very strange. I have known men have seen politician, and sought his company. They speak of him as one who entered in madly into life, drinking the cups of pleasure to the dregs. Ridiculous. No, I've seen politician, and I know him well, nor learned nor mirthful he. He's a dreamer and a man shut out from common passions. Children, we disagree. Let us go forth and taste the fragrant air of the garden. Did I dream or did I hear politician was a melancholy man? I have no idea what is happening in this. But my kettle is done. I'm gonna go get my tea. One moment. So there's an interesting thing about what I use. So I'm using a loose leaf tea, and once it's done steeping, it has a platform. You put it on top of a cup and it filters down the bottom so the tea leaves are caught and the tea goes through. By far one of the most useful things I have. Nothing wrong with tea balls or anything like that, but this is nice. I've found that tea balls tend to let some of the tea through. All right, Act 2. I don't know exactly. I can take a picture of it and put it in the Discord. It's not necessarily... Maybe I don't know what a percolator is. I'll figure it out. Act 2. Rome. A lady's apartment with a window open and looking into a garden. Lalage, deep in mourning, reads at a table on which lie some books and a hand mirror. In the background, Jacinta, a servant maid, leans carelessly upon a chair. Jacinta, is it thou? Oh, wait, that's a lady. Jacinta, is it thou? Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I did not know, Jacinta, you were in waiting. Sit down, let not my presence trouble you. Sit down, for I am humble, most humble. 'Tis time. It in another climate, so he said, bore a bright golden flower, but not in this soil. No lingering winters there, nor snow nor shower, but ocean ever to refresh mankind breathes the chill spirit of the western wind. Oh, beautiful, most beautiful, like like to what my favorite soul doth dream of heaven, oh happy land. She died, the maiden died, a still more happy maiden who couldst die, Jacinta. Again, a similar tale, told of a beauteous dame beyond the sea. Thus speaketh one Ferdinand in the words of the play, she died full young. One Bosola answers him, I think not so, her infelicity seemed to have years too many. Ah, luckless lady. Jacinta! Here's a far sterner story, but very like in its despair of that Egyptian queen winning so easily 1,000 hearts, losing at length her own. She died, thus in it the history, and her maids lean over and weep. Two gentle maids with gentle names, Eros and Carmion, Rainbow and Dove. Jacinta! Madam, what is it? Wilt thou, my good Jacinta, be so kind as to go into the library and bring me the holy evangelists? Pshaw! If there be balm for the wounded spirit in Gilead, it is there. Dew in the night time of my bitter trouble will there be found. Dew sweeter far than that, which hangs like chains of pearl on a Hermon hill. I'm going to read the stage directions. Re-enters Jacinta and throws a volume on the table. There, ma'am, is the book. Indeed, she's very troublesome. What didst thou say, Jacinta? Have I done aught to grieve thee or to vex thee? I am sorry, for thou hast served me long and ever been trustworthy and respectful. Can't believe she has any more jewels. No, she gave me all. What didst thou say, Jacinta? Now I bethink me thou hast not spoken lately of thy wedding. How fares good Ugo, and when is it to be? Can I do aught? Is there no further aid thou needst, Jacinta? Is there no farther aid? That's meant for me. I'm sure, madam, you need not be always throwing these jewels in my teeth. Jewels, Jacinta? No, indeed, Jacinta, I thought not of the jewels. Well, perhaps not, but then I might have sworn it. After all, there's Ugo says the ring is only paste, for he's sure the Count Castiglione never would have given you a real diamond to such as you. And at the best, I'm certain, madam, you cannot have use for jewels now, but I might have sworn it. Lalage bursts into tears and leans her head upon the table. After a short pause, raises it. Poor Lalage, and is it to come to this? Thy servant maid, but courage, 'tis but a viper, whom thou hast cherished to string thee to the soul. Taking up a mirror. Ha! Here at least is a friend. Too much of a friend. In earlier days a friend would not deceive thee. Fair mare, true. Fair mare and true, now tell me, for thou canst, a tale, a pretty tale, and heed thou not, though it be right with woe. It answers me. It speaks of sunken eyes and wasted cheeks and beauty long deceased, remembers me of joy departed. Hope, the seraph Hope, entombed and entombed, now in a tone low, sad, and solemn, most audible. Whispers of an early grave, untimely yawning for the ruined maid. Fair mirror and true, thou liest not. Thou hast no end to gain, no heart to break. Castiglione lied, who said he loved. Thou false, he false, false, false. Wow, she did not take that well. While she speaks, a monk enters her apartment and approaches unobserved. Refuge thou hast, sweet daughter in heaven, think of eternal things. Give up thy soul to penitence and pray. I cannot pray. My soul is at war with God. The frightful sounds of merriment below disturb my senses. Go, I cannot pray. The sweet airs from the garden worry me. Thy presence grieves me. Go, thy priestly raiment fills me with dread, thy ebony crucifix with horror and awe. Think of thy precious soul. Think of my early days. Think of my father and mother in heaven. Think of our quiet home and the rivulet that ran before the door. Think of my sisters. Think of them. And think of me. Think of my trusting love and confidence, his vows, my ruin. Think of my unspeakable misery. Be gone. Yet stay. What was it thou saidst of prayer and penitence? Did thou not speak of faith and vows before the throne? Wow, she's losing it. I did. 'Tis well. There is a vow where fitting should be made. A sacred vow, imperative and urgent, a solemn vow. Daughter, this zeal is well. Father, this zeal is anything but well. Hast thou a crucifix fit for this thing, a crucifix whereon to register this sacred vow? He hands her his own. Not that. Oh, no, not that. Not that. I tell thee, holy man, thy raiments and thy ebony cross affright me. Stand back, I have a crucifix myself. I have a crucifix, methinks 'twere fitting. The deed, the vow, the symbol of the dead, and the deed's register should tell thee, father. Draws a cross-handled dagger and raises it on high. Behold the cross wherewith a vow like mine is written in heaven. My words are madness, daughter, and speak a purpose unholy. Thy lips are livid, thine eyes are wild. Tempt not the wrath divine. Pause ere too late. Oh, be not rash. Swear not the oath. Oh, swear it not. 'Tis sworn. Right. We have reached Act 3. I have reached 4T. And there we go. The tea is filtered. And then once it's cool, I get to drink a little more. I do have water in the meantime. I didn't leave myself completely dehydrated. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is extremely confusing. I apologize if I'm not doing a good job at making things clear. All right. An apartment in a palace. Politician and Balthazar. And I guess that might be a play on Balthazar. Rouse thee now, politician, thou must not. Nay, indeed. Thou shalt not give way unto these humours. Be thyself. Shake off the idle fancies that beset thee and live, for now thou deest. Thank you. Not so, Balthazar, surely I live. Politician, it doth grieve me to see thee thus. Balthazar, it doth grieve me. To give thee cause for my grief, my honoured friend, command me, sir, what wouldst thou have me do? At thy behest I will shake off that nature, from which my forefathers I did inherit, with which my mother's milk I did imbibe, and be no more politician, but some other. Command me, sir. To the field, then. To the field. To the senator, the field. Alas, there is an imp would follow me even there. There is an imp hath followed me even there. There is... What voice was that? I heard it not. I heard not any voice except thine own, and the echo of thine own. Then I but dreamed. But give not thy soul to dreams, the camp, the court, befit thee. Fame awaits thee, glory calls, and her, the trumpet-tongued will not hear in hearkening to imaginary sounds and phantom voices. It is the phantom voice. Didst thou not hear it then? I heard it not. Thou heardst it not? Balthazar, speak no more to me, politician of thy camps and courts. I am sick, even unto death of the hollow and high-sounding vanities of the populous earth. Bear with me yet a while. We have been boys together, schoolfellows, and now are friends, yet shall not be so long for the eternal city. Thou shalt do me. A kind and gentle office, and a power august, benign, and supreme, shall then absolve thee of all further duties unto thy friend. Thou speakest a fearful riddle. I will not understand. Yet now as fate approaches and the hours are breathing low, the sands of time are changed to golden grains, and dazzle me, Balthazar. Alas, alas, I cannot die, having within my heart so keen a relish for the beautiful as hath been kindled within it. Methinks the air is balmier now than it was wont to be. Oh my God, excuse me. Rich melodies are floating in the wind, a rarer loveliness bedecks the earth, and with a holier luster than the quiet moon. Sitteth in heaven, hist, hist. Thou canst not say thou hearest not now, Balthazar. Indeed, I hear it not. Not hear it? Listen now, listen, the faintest sound, and yet the sweetest that ear have ever heard, a lady's voice and sorrow in the tone. Balthazar, it oppresses me like a spell. Again, how solemnly it falls into the heart of hearts, that eloquent voice. Surely I never heard. Yet it were well had I but heard it with its thrilling tones in earlier days. I myself hear it now. Be still. The voice, if I mistake not greatly, proceeds from yonder lattice, which you may see very plainly through the window it belongs. Does it not into the palace of the Duke? The singer is undoubtedly beneath this roof of his excellency, and perhaps is even that Alessandra of whom he spoke as the betrothed of Castiglione, his son and heir. Be still, it comes again. Voice very faintly. And is thy heart so strong as for to leave me thus, who hath loved thee so long in wealth and woe among? And is thy heart so strong as for to leave me thus? Say nay, say nay. The song is English, and I oft have heard it in merry England, never so plaintively. Hist, hist, it comes again. More loudly. Is it so strong as for to leave me thus, who hath loved thee long in wealth and woe among? And is thy heart so strong as to leave me thus? Say nay, say nay. 'Tis hushed, and all is still. All is not still. Let us go down. Go down, Balthazar, go. The hour is growing late. The Duke awaits us. Thy presence is expected in the hall below. What ails the Earl, politician? Who hath loved thee so long, and in wealth woe among? And is thy heart so strong? Say nay, say nay. Let us descend. 'Tis time. Politician, give these fancies to the wind. Remember, pray, your bearing lately savoured much of rudeness unto the Duke. Arouse thee, and remember. Remember? I do. Lead on, I do remember. Let us descend. Believe me, I would give freely, freely would give by the broad lands of my earldom, to look upon the face hidden by yon lattice, to gaze upon that veiled face and hear once more that silent tongue. Let me beg you, sir, descend with me. The Duke may be offended. Let us go down, I pray you. Voice loudly. Say nay, say nay. 'Tis strange, 'tis very strange. Methought the voice chimed in with my desires and bade me stay. Sweet voice, I heed thee, and will surely stay. Now be this fancy, be heaven, or be it fate. Still will I not descend. Balthazar, make apology unto the Duke for me. I will not go down tonight. Your lordship's pleasure shall be attended to. Good night, politician. Good night, my friend, good night. Someone's down way too bad. That's hilarious. I heard this voice, and now I will not meet with the party in which I was to meet. Oof. Little hot, little hot. I may have made a grave mistake. Act 4. The Gardens of the Palace. Moonlight. Lalage and Politician. And dost thou speak of love to me, politician? Dost thou speak of love to Lalage? Oh, woe is me! This mockery is most cruel indeed! Weep not, oh, sob not thus, thy bitter tears will madden me. Oh, mourn not, Lalage, be comforted. I know it all, and still I speak of love. Look at me, brightest and beautiful Lalage. Turn here thine eyes. Thou asked me if I would speak of love, knowing what I know and seeing what I have seen. Thou asketh me that, and thus I answer thee. Thus on my bended knee I answer thee. Sweet Lalage, I love thee, love thee, love thee. Through good and ill, through weal and woe, I love thee. A mother with her firstborn on her knee thrills with intenser love than I for thee, not on God's altar in any time or clime, burned there a holier fire than burneth now within my spirit for thee. And do I love? Even for thy woes I love thee, even for thy woes, thy beauty and thy woes. Alas, proud Earl, thou dost forget thyself, remembering me. How in thy father's halls, among the maidens pure and reproachless of thy princely line, could the dishonoured Lelange abide? Thy wife, and with the tainted memory, my seared and blighted name, how would it tally with the ancestral honours of thy house and with thy glory? Speak not to me of glory. I hate, I loathe the name. I do abhor the unsatisfactory and ideal thing. Art thou not Lelange, and I politician? Do I not love? Art thou not beautiful? What need me more? Ha! Glory! Now speak not of it. By all I wish my sacred and most solemn, by all my wishes now, my fears hereafter, by all I scorn on earth and hope in heaven, there is no deed I would more glory in than in thy cause to scoff at this same glory and trample it under foot. What matters it? What matters it, my fairest and my best, that we go down unhonored and forgotten into the dust? So will we descend together, and then, perchance. Why dost thou pause, politician? And then perchance arise together, Lelange, and roam the starry and quiet dwellings of the blessed, and still. Why dost thou pause, politician? And still together. Now, Earl of Leicester, thou lovest me, and in my heart of hearts I feel thou lovest me truly. Oh, Lelange, and lovest thou me? Hist, hush! Within the gloom of yonder trees methought a figure passed. A spectral figure, solemn and low and noiseless, like the grim shadowed conscience, solemn and noiseless. I was mistaken. 'Tis but a giant bow, stirred by the autumn wind. Politician! My Lelange, my love, why art thou moved? Why dost thou turn so pale? Not conscious self, far less a shadow which thou likenest to it, could shake the firm spirit thus. But the wind night is chilly, and these melancholy boughs throw over all things a gloom. Politician, thou speakest to me of love. Knowest thou the land with which all tongues are busy, a land new found miraculously by one of Genoa, 1,000 leagues within the golden west, a fairy land of flowers and fruit and sunshine and crystal lakes and overarching forests and mountains, around whose towering summits the wind of heaven untrammeled flow, which air to breathe is happiness now and will be freedom hereafter in days that are to come. Hi, John. Sorry. Oh, wilt thou fly to that paradise, my Lalage? I've been saying that wrong the whole time. Wilt thou fly hither with me? Their care shall be forgotten, and sorrow shall be no more, and Eros be all, and life shall be mine, for I will live for thee and in thine eyes, and thou shalt be no more a mourner, but the radiant joys shall wait upon thee, and the angel hope attend thee ever, and I will kneel to thee and worship thee, and call me thy beloved. And call thee my beloved, my own, my beautiful, my love, my wife, my all. Oh, wilt thou, Lalage, fly hither with me. A deed is to be done. Castiglione lives, and he shall die. And he shall die. Alas, Castiglione die? Who spoke the words? Where am I? What was it he said? Politician! Thou art not gone, politician. I feel thou art not gone. Yet dare not look, lest I behold thee not. Thou couldst not go, with those words upon thy lips. So speak to me, and let me hear thy voice. One word. To say thou art gone, one little sentence. To say how thou dost scorn, how thou dost hate my womanly weakness. Thou art not gone. Oh, speak to me. I knew thou wouldst not go. I knew thou wouldst not, could not, durst not go. Villain, thou art not gone, thou mockest me. And thus I clutched thee, thus. He is gone. He is gone. Gone. Where am I? 'Tis well, 'tis very well, so that the blade be keen, the blow be sure. 'Tis well, 'tis very well. Alas. She has gone nuts. Sorry. Hi, John. I was mid act. She is nuts, and he's nuts. He's actually gonna kill this guy, and she encouraged it. Woof. I'm sure they're fine. The suburbs. Politician alone. This weakness grows upon me. I am faint, and much I fear me ill. It will not do to die ere I have lived. Stay, stay thy hand, O Azrael, yet a while. Prince of the powers of darkness and the tomb, oh pity me, let me not perish now, in the budding of my paradisal hope. Give me to yet live, yet a little while. 'Tis I who pray for life, I who so late demanded but to die. What saith the Count? Enter Balthazar. That knowing no cause of quarrel or of feud beneath the Earl politician and himself, he hath declined your cartel. What didst thou say? What answer has it brought me, good Balthazar? With what excessive fragrance the zephyr comes, laden from yonder bowers, a fairer day, or one more worthy Italy, methinks, no mortal eyes have seen. What said the Count? That he, Castiglione, not being aware of any feud existing or any cause of quarrel between your lordship and himself, cannot accept the challenge. He challenged him to a duel. Okay. It did say it was uncompleted, so I'm sure there are scenes missing. It is most true. All of this is very true. When saw you, sir? When saw you now, Balthazar, in the frigid, ungenial Britain, which we left so lately? A heaven so calm as this? So utterly free from the evil taint of clouds, and he did say? No more, my lord, than what I have told you, sir. The Count Castiglione will not fight, having... I bet that's Castiglione. Frick. Will not fight, having no cause for quarrel. Now this is true, all very true. Thou art my friend, Balthazar, and I have not forgotten it. Thou'lt do me a piece of service. Wilt thou go back and say unto this man that I, the Earl of Leicester, hold him a villain? Thus much, I prithee, say unto the court, it is exceeding just as he should have cause for quarrel. My lord, my friend. 'Tis he. He comes himself. Thou reasonest well. I know what thou wouldst say, not send the message. Well, I will think of it. I will not send it. Now prithee leave me. Hither doth come a person with whom affairs of a most private manners I would adjust. I go. Tomorrow we meet, do we not, at the Vatican? At the Vatican. Exit Balthazar. Enter Castiglione. Oh shit, what voice did I have for him? Oh no. Ah, crap. Castiglione will have a slightly higher voice than the politician. The Earl of Leicester, here! I am the Earl of Leicester, and thou seest, dost thou not, that I am here? My lord, some singular mistake, misunderstanding, hath without risen, thou hast been urged thereby in that heat of anger to address some words most unaccountable in writing. To me, Castiglione, the bearer being Balthazar, Duke of Surrey. I am aware of nothing which might warrant thee in this thing, having given thee no offense. Ha! Am I right? 'Twas a mistake. Undoubtedly, we all do err at times. Draw, villain, and prate no more. Ha! Draw? And villain? How about thee at once, then, proud Earl? Draws. Politician drawing. Thus, to the expiatory tomb, untimely sepulture, I do devote thee in the name of Lalage. Oh, Castiglione, letting fall his sword and recoiling to the extremity of the stage. Of Lalage? Hold off thy sacred hand, avaunt, I say. Avaunt, I will not fight thee, indeed I dare not. Thou wilt not fight me, didst say, Count? Thou wilt not fight with me, didst say, Count, sir? Sir Count? Shall I be baffled thus? Now this is well. Didst thou say thou darest not? Ha! I dare not. I dare not. Hold off thy hand with that beloved name so fresh upon thy lips. I will not fight thee. I cannot. Dare not. Now, by my halidom, I do believe thee. Coward, I do believe thee. Ha! Coward, this may not be. Clutches his sword and staggers towards politician, but his purpose is changed before reaching him, and he falls upon his knee at the feet of the Earl. Alas, my lord, it is most true. In such a cause I am the veriest coward. Oh, pity me. Alas, I do. Indeed, I pity thee. And Lalage, scoundrel, arise and die. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. It needeth not be. Thus, oh, let me die thus on my bended knee. It were most fitting that in this deep humiliation I perish. For in a fight I will not raise a hand against the Earl of Leicester. Strike thou home, baring his bosom. Here is no let or hindrance to thy weapon. Strike home. I will not fight thee. Now, so death in hell, am I not sorely grievously tempted to take thee at thy word? But mark me, sir, think not to fly me thus. Do thou prepare for public insult in the street before the eyes of the citizens. I'll follow thee like an avenging spirit, I'll follow thee, even unto death, before those whom thou lovest. Before all Rome I taunt thee, villain, I'll taunt thee, dost hear, with cowardice. Thou wilt not fight me? Thou liest, thou shalt. Now this indeed is just, most righteous and most just, avenging heaven. Much confusion. All right, with that, we are 110 pages in and we have reached the fiction portion. Now things are going to get very long and very lengthy. So we might not be able to make 50 pages a day, but we'll slowly but surely get through these as Sundays pass. Whoops, controller. I don't see myself giving up on this for a while. Oh no, I have a bookmark. Why didn't I put it in? So unused to. Oh no, I'm ending. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You caught me right as I finished the drama and we're heading into prose next week. I'm so sorry. I've been reading nonstop for about 2 hours and it's time to take a break. And thank you again, you jerk. It wasn't even my birthday. It wasn't even my birthday. It wasn't my debut. And you were just like, take this thing. It's dangerous to go alone. Meanie, thank you. All right. I do need to give my voice a rest. I can hear that it's getting a little bit gravelly. It's my birthday now. My birthday is coming up. It's coming up in September. I don't know what to do for it. But I'll do something. I don't know what, but something. Maybe a birthday karaoke. That would be fun. All right. Thank you, everybody who stopped by to listen, and I apologize for leaving right as you leave you. I will see everybody at some time. I've got my schedule up on Twitter and in my Discord. So, have a good night. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the big poems that we got to by Poe. Oh my god, my voice just came out. Bye.